Hello and welcome back to Gooner Gathering. My name is Posh Bertie, the poshest man in all of sports entertainment. Usually I'm joined by Gooner Gathering's founding father, Lee Meadows, but as he says in the chat, he has got no voice at all, not the way he wanted to spend his birthday week. Yes, it's his birthday on Sunday. I believe he's 25 years old. And so instead, we've got someone from the other side to talk about the upcoming game against West Ham. A man who we've been on another channel before, on Uncle Rod's channel together, and he's here on the Gooner Gathering. Early Doors Football. How are you, sir?
I'm good, and thank you very much for inviting me onto this. It's a pleasure being on the show. Lee, get well, mate. I suppose if you look at it, when he says he's got no voice, as they say, every cloud's got a silver lining. You know, have that bit of peace and quiet for a change. No, I'm only joking, mate. Hope you get well soon.
I know you feel, don't worry. Usually he says that about me, so. Yes. Yes, no worries, Lee. And yes, happy 25th birthday on Sunday. So, of course, we will be talking about the upcoming game at the London Stadium tomorrow, West Ham versus Arsenal, hence why Mr. Early Doors is here. But I just briefly want to discuss my thoughts on the Arsenal's Champions League game against Sporting, because we have not been able to do that this week due to Lee being unwell and me being busy with work commitments. I mean, what else can I say? I thought it was absolutely phenomenal watch. I was doing a stream with Lee on Monday. We were saying, well, it's going to be tough. It'll be a difficult game, and on paper that could have been right. But first half, we were absolutely wiping the floor with them. And even Kai Havertz got a goal, which, in my view, that's a bit of a turn up for the books. I will admit I was a bit weary when we conceded a bit of a silly goal in the second half, but we were not. There can only be one Premier League club to bottle a 3-0 lead on that day, and it wasn't going to be us. Saka scored the penalty to make it 4-1, and Trossard to make it 5-1 as well. I don't know if you saw the game Early Doors, but what did you? I mean, it's a bit of almost a wrong time for West Ham to play Arsenal. We seem to be coming back into form. What have you made of Arsenal's performance against Sporting? If you caught it.
I think if you look at it, it's probably the best lot of football you've played so far this season. I only saw highlights, but what I saw of it, that you did look, you looked impressive. And we know obviously it's a different levels, their standard to our standard, but to go there and get that result, that sends a message, doesn't it, straight away? So you've got to be happy. As Arsenal fans, you've got to be happy with that result at least.
Oh, absolutely. I think that was the best performance we've played, not just this season, but in a while, actually. Probably since a certain game at the London Stadium. That was our best performance. The chat is, I know we're streaming on your channel, but the chat is flooding at the moment. Anthony Herbert, good to see you. Also appears in our channel. So excited for the game. Okay. You've changed your name. That's all right. Good to see you, Russ Morgan. Good evening. AFC always. Your name's Tony. Okay. Good to see you. One of our regulars in the channel as well. Gooner Gathering. Welcome everyone. Please smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Doing the Lord's work, even unwell. Good to see you, Lee Meadows. Hawkwind. Good to see you. Can I do the Gorkarez celebration? Well, Gabriel did it wrongly when he tried to mock it. He did it like this when it's meant to be this. So there you go. So that's that over and done with. On Saturday, of course, West Ham are playing Arsenal, and I think probably the less said about the last time West Ham played Arsenal, the better for you, Tony. But we'll talk about the present now. How do you feel going into the game? Because as I mentioned, we seem to be, at the moment anyway, going back into form. But so are West Ham. Quite an impressive result against Newcastle. Do you want to discuss that? I think. What did you make of that game against Newcastle?
Yeah, I mean that game, I still can't get my head around. Where do we suddenly turn up? Because the last 11 games, we never saw any of that, and we didn't expect. I think most of us, and I can say for most West Ham fans, I think they expected that we was going to get a hammering, and it was the complete opposite. I mean, every single player that did their part, everyone that came off the bench did their part, and Lopetegui did his part. I don't know what the hell was going on. I think the only thing I keep saying is when you look at Lopetegui, he did look quite haggard. Growth going on around with the beard, hair all over the place in a mess, and like he hadn't slept for several days. He looked different. So when you look at something like that, we take that, and we've got to carry that into this game on Saturday. The problem is, which I've alluded to on the show I've just been on, that this man keeps changing the team. But if he's going to go with what he did on Monday and stick with that, then I think we're going to give you, it'll be a bit more of an entertaining game to see. Because, yes, the last game, as you said, we all know how that went. We know, obviously, Westfield, their shopping sales went back up again after everyone came out at half time because, they could actually make a couple of quid. But other than that, your form was, for you, it was long overdue because I think the last couple of games where your form went out of the window, you was looking quite poor. And then, of course, you get a couple of results. I mean, the Forest game, I think if you look at it, you expected Forest to give you more of a game. And they were, I suppose, in a similar situation like Newcastle were on Monday. And the Forest didn't turn up for that game at all.
You are right there. We were very dominant in that game. Would you say that the difference has been the return of Odegaard back in the team? Because we did not look as free flowing as we did without him. I was thinking, look, there have been games where Odegaard has played and we've been poorly. But would you say that the return of Odegaard has played a big part of us being back into form again?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. It's an influence for you guys because I think looking, we obviously Rice with this broken toe. Will your manager playing for one? But then you've got Partey. Partey's been pretty exceptional at the moment. So at least you've got that. Odegaard coming in, it kind of strengthens the midfield area. Obviously Saka, you know what he's going to do. It's definitely going to be the ball's going to be played to a lot of him down the wing because I know he likes to exploit us. Your left-hand side, I don't know. Is he going to go with Martinelli? Is he going to go with Trossard? There's your key questions there. But Odegaard has made a big difference coming back into the team. But if we can stop him from playing, we can stop Saka from playing, or at least try to give them a bit of a hard time, then your balance changes.
Yeah, let me just go through some of the chat here. AFC always says, stick with the same 11 that beat Sporting unless Gabriel is out injured. But Lee Meadows here makes an interesting point, saying, I wouldn't be surprised if we rotate a little. Man United on Wednesday, we have lots of games coming up.
True.
That is true.
Just so you know, bro, all the chat, you handle that. I can't do anything with that. All the comments is through you.
I'm not going to go through every single message because we'll probably be here for hours.
Not bad for the first show together. It's not bad at all.
Declan says, FTBL says, I really hope Rice scores. Whether he'll play or not, as you mentioned, because we've got to rotate a bit and he's got a broken toe. I think he probably will play. We'll have to wait and see. Against his old club, of course. Anthony Herbert says, Tony says he's not confident. He's worried. His bottom was twitching on last night's show, and he wants Southgate in. Is that what you really said, Tony?
No, this is my partner on our show on Wednesdays, and he always loves putting these kind of types of comments in. He tries to unsettle me because he gets a kick out of it, but that's what it's all about. But yes, Southgate in, why not? No, I'm joking. Never, never.
Oh, Southgate versus Arteta. Guna Gathering says the turning point is Fabianski being back in goal for the Hammers. Is your main goalkeeper out injured then?
No, it's just that he's had a shocking performance, and at least Lopetegui did the right thing by dropping him and putting Fabianski in, and Fabianski's not been too bad. I mean, Monday's game, he was on top drawer because everything that Newcastle played in, he reacted to that. So that's the reason why he's been playing.
Michael says, I hope we will see Jez on your shows. Jez has been on our channel before. There was there's a very good interview that Lee Meadows did with him, actually. Could we do a Desert Island Kickabouts, it's called. And
what are they?
It's essentially it's Desert Island Discs, but with football matches. And Jez took part in that, and that's a fantastic interview. So go and watch that if you have the time. Jez is a good bloke. Yeah. AFC always says Van Nistelrooy has been confirmed as new Leicester manager. Yes. Thoughts on that?
Well, we play them on Tuesday. So the timing couldn't be any more perfect, really. Leicester's going to have that feel-good factor with him coming in, and then we have to play them. And considering we've got them next, and then we've got Wolves, we've got quite a nice running coming up over the Christmas period. But yeah, with this game, you can just see with him being in charge, there's going to be a different energy with Leicester.
Yes, absolutely. Anthony Herbert says, my father once said to me, never trust a West Ham fan with a wonky moustache. Your moustache is lovely, Tony. Don't listen to him. AFC always, we have to get 3 points against West Ham and 3 points against Man United. Anything less is not good enough. Yes, I do agree with you. I want to see 6 points from those two games, especially trying to humble Man United with their new manager. Put Almiron in his place. That'd be nice. Potential team news for the sides. There's been talk of Gabriel possibly missing the game. Arteta gave quite a cagey press conference, but I'm not going to read too much into that because he's always very cautious. You don't want to give too much away. I understand that. I reckon Gabriel will play against West Ham. Could be famous last words there. Do you think Gabriel will play? And will it be it would be an advantage for you if he didn't? What do you say?
Yeah, if he didn't play, it would be a massive advantage because we know he's quite dangerous on when it comes to corners on set pieces. As I say, Arteta and his dark arts, as they say, it is one of those. I don't think he's injured. I think he's just kind of they're doing fitness tests on him and guarantee he'll be there. So that's why I see it. Let me just say, if you don't mind, Bertie, I'll just say hello to the people in the chat. So, Words and Pictures, good evening. Colin Chilvers, good evening to yourself. Wasim, good evening. Hope you're keeping well. Declan, I've seen that message and thank you very much for subscribing to the show. Appreciate that as well, mate. Matt, good to see you as well, Matt. Aces, as always, and all the guys that's obviously in on Lee and Posh Bertie's channel. Yes, make sure you smash the likes and share and subscribe to these guys as well. Good people.
Yes. Declan says Ethan Wanyeri should play. I can't see it. I think, especially with Odegaard coming back, I think Wanyeri's going to be essentially the backup to Odegaard because I don't want to see Trossard in the 10 again. Yeah, he's when he has started, he made an impact against Nottingham Forest. What do you think of Wanieri? He's quite a nice spark, isn't he?
He's a nice little player, and he should be getting a bit more game time as well. Believe it or not, I do believe he needs to get a bit more game time. Will Arteta do that? I don't know, because obviously there's a chance where he's going to have Mourinho. You've also got Jorginho. He likes Oenio in the names, doesn't he, Arteta, for some reason?
Jorginho.
Jorginho, yes, there's a pattern there. But this kid's got to be given a chance, because you can see what he's the potential this kid's got.
Yeah.
He's going to be moving on. He's going to be, going up. If he sticks with Arsenal, it'll be another thing. If he's that good, then no doubt another club may be coming in for him. If he's, if he's got that talent about him. But let's see. Hopefully, Arteta will manage him well.
Yeah, because our track record of letting academy players leave is concerning. Because it was very rare. This guy was going to not get a game time anyway. But Chido Obi Martin, who left for Man United, he looked like a very, very promising player, and he's gone. Rule Walters as well. So
yes,
got to make sure academy players are valued at Arsenal Football Club. Good to meet you too. Words and pictures, by the way. Make sure you go and subscribe to our channel and hit the like button as well. New subscriber here. Thank you very much. Thank you for subscribing to our channel, and also subscribe to Tony's channel as well.
And good evening to Stephanie, and also to Lawrence Watkins. Big up to yourselves as well.
Yeah, good to see people who are usually here for people who are on Early Doors' channel. Good to see you as well. AFC always says, Tony, at least your manager doesn't use light bulbs and lemons and playing You'll Never Walk Alone in training, pickpockets and a dog. Yes, that I suppose. I never forget, he played You'll Never Walk Alone in the training session, and we lost 4-0.
Yes, that's right. That kind of backfired royally, as they say.
So speaking about, I was going to ask you now. We'll talk about your team news. Mohamed Kudus, a player who I very much rate last season, and Lee Meadows will say this. I've been waxing lyrical about how I wish he could have been there with us instead of Kai Havertz, and he's a fantastic player in my opinion. He will be back for you from suspension, I believe. Do you think he'll start? And how's he been this season?
For me, the reason why he's got the suspension is that he's had enough of this manager. I do believe that it's the case of frustration was the ultimate crux of that thing with Van der Ven. I can't see any other reason behind it, because he was having a pretty okay game at that point. But I think the way that Lopetegui was playing at that time, there's a lot of players you could just see there was frustration, and unfortunately for Kudus, Van der Ven was the linchpin of it all. So the biggest problem is with Alvarez as well as Kudus coming back, and knowing this manager, will he drop people to accommodate these, or is he going to stick with what he did on Monday, which would be the obvious thing to do, because you stick that consistency so we can go into this game with a bit more passion and belief. But that's the only kind of worrying concern for me, is what he will do as this manager.
Yeah, you mentioned Kudus. You think Kudus got sent off because he was fed up of the manager? Some Arsenal fans have been saying this about Trossard, how he missed the penalty against Shakhtar, got sent off against City because he doesn't like Arteta. Whilst it's always nice to put the tinfoil hat on here and there, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Yes,
But yeah, hopefully the goal, I know it was a rebound goal that Trossard scored, but I do hope the goal he scored against Sporting will make him get on the right track to do well again, because he is a very good player, as we saw last season, was a difference maker in some of those games in the last stages of the season. AFC Away says Kudus is a baller. I wanted Arsenal to sign him. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
You missed out on him. You had the chance to sign him as well.
Yes, but hopefully with that Edu Gaspar going, and there's talks of us getting Real Sociedad's director of football, who knows what our transfer policy will be like next season. Hopefully we'll sign players that aren't Chelsea's lost property bins for a change. Fulkrug, he's unavailable, I believe. From what I see, I'm not sure he's gone off to the start you may have wanted him to. You're smiling there.
Because I've got a gap like him, see? I've got a gap in the tooth, just like him. But it's the fact that he's only played. We've only really seen him once for a full game in the Hammer shirt. Other than that, he's been a ghost. He has literally been a ghost. There was the talks he was supposed to be back for Monday. Now there's talks he's possibly back for tomorrow's game. I don't see it. I don't see it myself. I think it's just a case of we spent 24 million on a 31-year-old, and we've only gone by what he did in the Euros, basically, because he scored. He got a brace of goals for Germany. Other than that,
signing a player who did very well in the Euros. That sounds very familiar, almost like how we signed Calafiori. Matt Foster says Kudus for Trossard swap. That's interesting. There. AFC always says, wouldn't surprise me if we signed Mudryk in January.
In the mud.
Good God Almighty. Anthony Herbert says he was smiling at his phone, and Guna Gathering says I like Kudus too. Yes, absolutely. So, before the season started, when I did a video with Lee previewing our first game of the season, and we talked about who the biggest overachievers and underachievers would have been. And believe it or not, for overachievers, I came out to bat for the Hammers, because I said, look, you've had a good transfer window. I'm a big fan of the players, some of the players that you've signed. I think they might surprise people, but safe to say it hasn't turned out like that at the moment, although you have managed to win a couple of games more recently. What have been your thoughts on West Ham's season? Because it looks like it's been quite underwhelming, don't you think?
It has been. I mean, everyone was thinking, okay, we've signed virtually 10 players. It looks like a good window. It looks promising. Unfortunately, with this manager, it's a case of win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, draw, win, loss, back to a win again. So the algorithm, the Lopetegui algorithm, shall I say,
algorithm.
means that we'll lose tomorrow. Then, if that's the case, if we go by his standards, it's him that tinkered around with the team so much, and this is the problem. You want consistency. At least with Arteta, you can say, because first of all, when I'm going back about 3 seasons ago, there was no style of, no one knew what Arteta was actually achieving. The last couple of seasons is basically where you started to kind of play consistently, and you can see that, and that's hence why you finished up, missing out on the title, finishing second, because you're playing with a more purpose. This manager at the moment, Lopetegui, we just don't know what style he's doing. But Monday is, like I said, is the turning point. With that, it's going on from Monday is the. I said it before. When we got that 4-1 result against Ipswich, that's where he should have learned to do something, especially when the international break. We should have done something in that 2-week period to improve the team, work on that, what we've done with that game, and move on. Did nothing of that at all. Then we lost against Spurs. We know that went from that game. But then you look at this one. If you can keep that momentum going from that game alone, just that one game, because that kind of nullifies the other 11 games previously, then we've got a good chance of starting to move up the table. I mean, look tonight. You've got Brighton playing tonight. They win this game tonight, they go second.
Yes, at least briefly anyway. That's currently 0-0 at the moment.
Mm.
But yeah, this
Josh.
is AFC always reminded me of this. Oh, hang on. Oh, good to see Hot Fuzz, by the way, in the chat.
Yes.
We've been on Uncle Rod's channel together as well, with Early Doors as well. Yeah, good to see you as well. We've got you coming up, actually, after the West Ham game. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. AFC always kind of brought this up because coming from a non-West Ham fan point of view, seeing West Ham get rid of David Moyes was a very strange decision, especially considering he led you to your first. He led you to a European trophy. I know people go, "Oh, it's the Conference League." For West Ham, I think that's a very good thing to win. And also, he got you consistent top half finishes in the table. I mean, that's just coming from a non-West Ham fan point of view. What did you make of it when West Ham got rid of Moyes? Because I just think that's quite strange.
I look at it like this. I think with the Moyes situation, I mean, I don't know if there's a kind of a love-hate relationship between him and Sullivan, but I feel like last season he was told he was not going to be, have his contract renewed, because we knew it was his last year of his contract. I think he was told then that he wasn't going to have his contract renewed. I mean, obviously there was a talk. Obviously, exactly, we are European champions, whereas in pictures, and Lawrence will tell you that as well. I know there was obviously the talk of the contract that was put in his face in front of him, then it was ripped up, and then another one was given. But I think once he knew he had to work for his position, that's when it all started to go downhill. And I think he just got on with games, but he didn't give the same energy like he had done the last previous seasons that got us into Europe, and we can see how the whole season went from that point onwards. But for me, and I'll still say it up to this day, and I know most people already know this answer, for the manager to come in would have been Thomas Frank.
Yes, because as AFC was asking you, what manager did you want if Moyes left? And yeah, fair. That's a fair point from you. Let me go through the chat. Oh, I believe Brighton have just scored against Southampton. Thank you for the update, Una Gathering. Well, where was that comment that I did not like at all? This one. Still hoping Arsenal will sign Sterling permanently. Not if I've got anything to do with it. Let me tell you that now.
Big up Michael Chelsea as well.
Yes. Troge says Kudus will improve when he plays as part of a team and not as an individual.
Absolutely, Trosh. Yeah, absolutely.
Anthony Herbert is still saying that you wanted Southgate. I think that's been debunked, Anthony.
Yeah, well, we tried to offload him to Man United first of all with Fuzzy, and he didn't like that. And then they're both gloating now that they know that obviously he's available and could be coming to West Ham. But no.
Yes. Is Truguna in the chat? I can't. There's a lot of people in the chat, so I can't really see your comment, Josh, if you're there. But very good to see you anyway. Sam Wilson, who's also part of our channel, says, "Good evening to you both. I'm watching a team that is local to me in the second round of the other cup. That's Lincoln City, I believe. He is." So yeah, good to see you there. I wish, well, at least your local club are doing a lot better than mine. Ebbsfleet United. God, we're awful. We're playing like Man City at the moment. Yeah. Hot Fuzz says Tony wants Gareth Southgate. Well, is there anything you want to discuss regarding the West Ham game? You mentioned Declan Rice's broken toe. With us having Man United in midweek, do you think he'll play tomorrow?
Knowing your manager, yeah, he'll put him on. And
yeah, I can see it. He said that he shockingly dropped him against Nottingham Forest, which I didn't expect. But yeah,
because you had Odegaard come back in that game, though, didn't you?
Yeah, Odegaard's back now.
I think that's the reason why he probably kind of dropped Rice. He already knew he had the broken toe, because I think he's been playing through this broken toe for a while now.
Yeah.
So him, is an easy swap, isn't it? You take out Rice and you put in Odegaard. So that's probably the reason why they've done that. But yeah, I mean, your manager has proven to kind of put players back on that's carrying an injury, and then of course they disappear for a while. You don't really want to do that with Rice because he's also quite instrumental to your team.
He rarely is he rarely does get injured. So
we taught him well, Bert. We taught him well, Bertie, not to get injured.
Yeah,
he learned a lot from us.
Absolutely. But yeah, we'll see if he plays against his old club. Might get a goal for all we know, like last season.
Possibly. Well, own goal, of course. Yes, he loves doing that.
Yeah, I didn't say if it was an actual goal or an own goal. Who knows?
Diplomatic answer there as well done.
Matt Foss says, "Thank God we didn't sign Sterling." Tell me about it. I think, it's like they always said. It was like there was a clause in Edu's contract that he must sign a player from Chelsea every transfer window. That's how it felt like. I was Gainsborough, not Lincoln. Fair enough, Sam. Sterling will deliver for you, Bertie. Well, I haven't seen the postman at all the past few weeks. I don't think Sterling is delivering, my friend. Yeah. Don't know what Rice's problem is. I broke my...
Oh, Budgie. That's brilliant.
Thank you, Budgie. And yeah, Colin Chilver says, "I want Rice to play. I feel he'll get sent off." Well, he has happened before, but I don't know. Matt Foss says Trossard over Sterling any day. Yeah, I agree with you there. Do you want to give us a prediction? Because I've done my notes at that now.
My prediction, I think it'd be a bit more of a closer game. I mean, don't get me wrong, use our above us in that respects, but I still think we can carry that momentum from Monday's game. He doesn't make any changes. We can maybe get a 2-1 result out of you.
Okay. I mean, we seem to be, famous last words, coming back into form. And I'm going to be confident. I'll say 2-0 to Arsenal. But it is a tough place to go more often than not, London Stadium. And you have beaten us in the Carabao Cup last season, of course. But let's see what happens. Lawrence is going for 2-1 to West Ham. Who knows? So he was talking about I think Troge said something about Kudus, and he said same goes for Paqueta. Post-match, Paqueta keeps talking about playing as a team. It gives me hope.
Yes.
I
think the good thing is, Paqueta, probably one of his better games he's had for us recently. That's for sure. With
he's a good player usually. I like him.
It has been off. We know. Well, it's the whole squad's been off form. But that Monday one was definitely a big difference. And Salah playing in with them, there was a good link-up play with that. And you could see with Somerville and Bowen looked, back to his old self, which is great to see because we've been long overdue that as well. And even Antonio, he had a shirt ripped off his back, basically putting blood, sweat, and tears in. So we've got a good chance. And the good thing about it as well, Bertie, that even the subs came on, they did their part as well. And not being funny, we've said it on our shows, even if we lose against you tomorrow, but we put in a good game, I'm happy with that because at least the boys give it a go.
No, fair enough. But yeah, he doesn't come with batteries. I know.
With batteries.
Yes. Colin Chilver says 2-1 for me. Guilherme comes on and gets the winner.
That'd be nice. It'd be good for the young lad as well. If that could happen, Colin, that'd be a great result if that did.
So Akers says, and he's got a point here. He says Leicester City is more important than Arsenal for Lopetegui because that's a game. That's a game. You could beat us. You never know. But against Leicester, that's a game you're more likely to try and take the fight to, if that makes sense on paper, anyway. And of course, Leicester have got a new manager as well, as we mentioned. Do you agree that's more important for Lopetegui than the game tomorrow?
I think so. I mean, as you know, all games are important, but let's be realistic. When we know you're playing someone like yourself, we know that's when we know we're going to have a hard game. The Leicester, the Wolves games coming up, that's what we have got to kind of look at ahead of ourselves as well. You've always got to look at the next game coming up. You don't just look at the one you're dealing with. We're going to have a nice little run coming up after these games. So this is an opportunity for West Ham to kind of get some points on the board.
Michael says pressure's more on Arsenal.
Oh, it's a good shout.
Yeah, we do. We do need to get back into form. Last week and the game against Sporting, we have been doing that. But I personally think, and I know Lee will disagree with me, and also Dom, who's part of our channel. But I personally think the title's over for us, and we should probably end up focusing on winning the domestic cup competitions. But if we want to get back into form in the league, which I want us to do, and hopefully try and close the gap on Liverpool, because they've got a big game coming up, and that'll be interesting on Sunday. But if we want to close the gap on Liverpool, we've got to keep on winning, especially these games. And Bargy says, what actually makes me posh? I'm from Sevenoaks. And listen to my voice. I also went to private school. And to be fair, though, that school was as private as... when the BBC iPlayer asks you if you got a TV licence, you can just say, yeah, just click that button. That's how private it was. But yeah. Anyway, you were saying something before...
Yeah, I mean... when you look at the likes of Liverpool, I mean, the one thing you can say about the whole table at the moment is very tight. Like we just said earlier, when you look at the fact of you've got Brighton winning today, if they win this game, they're second in the table. That's how quickly you can move up the table. But at the same point, you've got to think for us, any teams below us, they win a couple of games and we lose one of those games, it changes the whole dynamics of the table itself. Good evening, Mr. Tom, as well. Good to see you in here.
Oh, gee, I'm not putting that comment up.
I've just seen that, yes.
No comment. That's all I can say on that one. Yes, Mr. Tom, good to see you. He's been in the chat on our channel before.
He's a good guy, Mr. Tom. Good evening, Terence, as well. Good to see you in here.
Surely Arteta won't be stupid enough to risk playing Rice. But mind you, his ego and eyebrows probably tell him he knows best. 2-0 to West Ham he's going for.
That's true. I mean, Trojer's put up there as well. Arsenal seem a bit tasty at corners this season. They're definitely... I think it's this new coach you've got, isn't it? I mean, he's worked quite a lot with the boys, it seems. You can see a difference in their style of attack, which has been long overdue, I believe, as well.
Colin Chilver says, don't be surprised if you finish fourth in the league. I can see that happening. We've got to win a domestic cup, maybe even the double if we're lucky to hide that. But we'll have to wait and see. But as Akers pointed out there, Fraud-Teta isn't winning absolutely nothing this season. 5 years of failure. You're
probably
right. And I've said, I've been saying this a lot, but I've said he doesn't win anything this season. He has to go. I'm sorry, but it's been 5 years. But I have a hunch that I have a hunch that the Carabao Cup final is going to be Arsenal versus Tottenham, and if we give Tottenham if Tottenham end up winning that and they break their trophy drought, then he should be sacked on the spot for that, honestly.
Sacrilege, as they say. Sacrilege, they've won.
Daz is going 3-1 to the Hammers. And AFC always says, I want Emery to finish above Arteta. Let's see what the top gooners say about that.
You mentioned that.
Based on Aston Villa's form recently, they've been a bit 50-50, haven't they? Well, not they've been a bit flat. Fair
They
to
haven't,
say.
and to think they spent a fair bit of money in the summer as well.
Yeah. Kuna Gathering disagreeing with me there. Look, Lee, as I've said, it's 5 years. If he doesn't win anything, I think we got to, especially if Arne Slot wins the league first season as Liverpool manager, proving that it doesn't take 5 years and millions upon millions of money to do that. So
exactly.
yeah.
He's proven that you can just come in and, in certain respects, hit the road running. He's got there's an aura about didn't know much about Slot. We said that when on our channel, didn't see much was going on with that, but he's come in and seems to be cool as a cucumber, as they say, and he just gets on with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sam said you missed his question. Is it the one?
Yeah, I've got his question up here. Thank you, Sam. He's asking you, actually, Tony. Will you have the Guna Gathering lot on your channel for a review of the match, Beyond Enemy Lines?
Throwing the gauntlet down. Well done, Sam. That would be a bad shout. We could always look to do that.
Depends on the result and how angry I am if it was. That's why I got you here for the preview and playing it safe.
Big up to Brian CFC as well. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, win or lose, you've still got to kind of be brave enough. I mean, I know when Spurs beat us convincingly, when they beat us 4-1, I wasn't afraid to go on the Spurs channels because I knew at the end of the day,
that's fine. I don't mind at all, really.
It was the way it's just how we kind of lost it in 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, Sam set them up for it regardless of the result. Yeah, absolutely. But that's in your court there, really, to be honest. I think
fresh, Sean. Good to see you. Sorry, mate.
Absolutely. Although I think that should do it, unless you have anything to say about regarding the match.
No, I mean, all I'm looking for is for the boys to carry on from what they did on Monday. As long as we do that and win, lose, or draw, as long as they put in the same type of performance, I'll be happy with that. Even if we lose and they put performance in like that, we'd know they tried. And that's all you can ask for, really. I mean, if we win, great. Brilliant bonus. Evening, Ray. Good to see you in as well.
Terence says, I agree with you, Bertie. Arsenal looking at third or fourth, should concentrate on domestic cups. You won't, if you win one, they won't sack Arteta. Well, as I said, he has to win something this season. All that money being spent, 5 years in the job, and you win one trophy with a team that wasn't really yours. You've built the team in your image, and you got to win something this season, mate. Anthony Herbert is grapefruits are out. He's got 7-1 to Arsenal. Good God Almighty!
He likes to drink a bit too much, Bertie. That's the problem.
Yeah,
he gets carried away with scores. Yeah, he gets carried away.
Been down the pub on a Friday. Fair enough, Anthony. But yeah, I think that should do it. Thank you very much, Tony, for being on our channel. I know we were meant to have Mr. Lee Meadows here, but he's not very well. Yeah. So
no,
get well soon, my friend. Where can they find you on the old social medias?
So you can find me on Early Doors Football TV, and that's on X, and that's also on Insta, TikTok as well. I'm in around about where we are now, literally in about 14 minutes' time. I am going to be on TJ Warren's channel for the American Idiots, where we'll be talking about the review of the West Ham Arsenal game as well. So that's for number 3 of tonight.
Wow!
So you can see me there as well. I am tonight, mate. I am in tonight, and hence why the coffee in the cup to keep me going, basically.
In the West Ham mug as well. Very nice.
Just to highlight that part. You can also find me on doing the Sunday Night Takeaway show, and then on Wednesdays, Anthony Herbert, Hot Fuzz, and myself is the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and then Budgie, who has got a program show Tuesday. That's, I think, the comment of the night so far. Will be with me on the West Ham review on Thursday night as well.
Yes.
I know, whereas the pictures never look beyond the early doors. He is
Lee
indeed,
Meadows says,
Lee.
big fan of TJ Warren. He's a very nice man. He's also been on our channel as well. AFC always did Lee Meadows bottle it like what Arsenal did for the past 2 seasons. No, he's not very well. He's not very well. So that's why he's not here. And as he says, we'll see you soon.
All I
Thank you
say to Lee is port and brandy, Lee. Does well for the throat. Port and brandy. Try that, my friend.
There we are. Well, you can follow me on X at Posh Bertie. My Instagram is at Bertie Wanless. I also run Gooner Gathering's Instagram account, which is, of course, at Gooner Gathering. And you can find all the members of our team here on these social handles below. All very good people. It's been a pleasure to have you on Early Doors. And we will wait. Well, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. May the best man win, as they say. Until next time, guys, take care, and I'll see you very soon.
Take care.